I love soccer. I played soccer for the University of Portland. We made it to the NCAA Final Four in 1995. I played soccer every day of my life as a kid. I played soccer in my 20s competitively. I still play on 2 soccer teams, even now at 51 years old. I love soccer, or in some countries they call it football. So it's always been my dream to go to a World Cup final. And I'd never even been to a World Cup. And in 2014, I finally went to my first World Cup. And I had a ticket for the round of 8, but I didn't have a ticket for the final. So a week before the final, I go to Rio. And I try to do everything to find a ticket for this final. I asked everybody on the beach. I asked everybody walking down the street. I went to the ticket kioscos where people get the tickets from FIFA who have been issued regular tickets. I tried everything to find a ticket. I found 3 tickets. One was $6,500, one that was $8,000, one that was $10,000. It was a lot of money. And in 2014, I didn't have a lot of money. So trying to spend $8,000, $10,000 for a ticket was just more than I wanted to spend. But it was my dream to go see a World Cup final. And so the day of the final, I went for a run. I went for a run on the beach. And I was coming back to my hotel and I saw this guy, and the guy was holding up a sign. And the sign says, "I need a ticket for the final." It was a cardboard sign with pen written lettering. And I said, "Do you think that's really gonna work?" And the guy says, "It's worked for the last 3 finals." And I said, "The last 3 finals?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "You've seen a final?" He said, "Yeah, I've seen 3 finals in a row." And I said, "And that worked," holding up a sign. And he said, "Yeah." I run back to my hotel room. I ripped the cover off these brand new shoes that I bought, and I wrote the same exact thing on cardboard. And I was holding it up all the way to the subway station. I held it up all the way on the subway to the game. We get to the game. I've never been to the Americana Stadium before. And it is just a sea of people. We get off the subway, and you could just see the sea of people from the platform, from the subway. And I'm like shocked at how many people are outside of the stadium. It is overwhelming. But I'm like, it's my dream to see this final. So I keep holding up the sign. And I walk down the stairs, and people are looking at me like, that guy's crazy. Like, he's never going to find a ticket. And this woman walks up to me, and she's got a baby in a Bjorn. And she kind of leans over to my ear and says, "How much will you pay?" And I said, and my thinking was that I would pay up to $3,000, but I started at $2,000. And I said, "I would pay $2,000. And she pauses for a second, and she says, "How will you pay?" And I said, "I have American dollars." And she says, "Okay." And I said, "Can I see the ticket?" Because I had done some research. There's a hologram in the ticket. There are different pricing. I kind of had known the different pricing tiers. And she shows me the ticket. I could see the hologram, and I could see the price, and it was a good seat. And she says, "Okay, I'll sell it." And I said, "Okay. But remember, there's 1 million people around here. And so I'm going to count out $2,000 in crisp $100 bills. My palms are sweaty. It's a hot July day in Brazil. And I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. Like, this is my dream. This is kind of a lot of money. There's a lot of people milling around out here. And I had a sign that said I buy a ticket so people know I have money on me. So I could easily get mugged or robbed here. So I was a little nervous. And so I'm counting out the money, and I'm trying to count it out the best I can. I don't know if the money's sticking together or not. I counted 20 times. I'm going fast with my thumb, and I hand her the money, and she hands me the ticket. And as soon as she handed me the ticket, my arm just went up my back, and there was a sign in front of my face, or a badge that says, "Policia, Policia." And all of a sudden I felt handcuffs go on my right arm, and I felt my left arm go up my back, and I could feel the handcuffs go completely on. And I'd never felt handcuffs before. That hurts to get handcuffs on when they put them on tight. Whoo! And I'm thinking to myself, what just happened? I'm at the World Cup final, and I just got arrested. Like, how did this, where am I going? How long am I going to be in jail? Like, this is a lot. And pretty soon a police car shows up. They open the door. They told me to get in the police car. in Portuguese. I understood what they meant though. So I got in the police car, but they left the other door to the police car open. And I thought, this woman scammed me. She completely put me together on this. This is a scam. I'm arrested. Like, are these real police? Like, what's going on here? So I look out and they're trying to get the woman to come and get in the police car. But they can't put handcuffs on her because she's got a baby in a Bjorn. And so I'm watching this unfold and they're trying to pull the woman out of the crowd to pull her into the police car. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting in the police car with my handcuffs on and watching this whole thing go on with the door open. And then a woman runs out of the crowd and she grabs the woman that has the baby in the Bjorn, and she starts tugging the woman saying, you can't arrest her. She has a baby. She didn't do anything. You can't take her. And then it becomes a tug of war. You got the woman on the one side trying to pull her back into the crowd, and you got the police trying to pull her into the police car. And I'm in the back of the police car, and I'm thinking, what just happened here? How come I'm in a police car with handcuffs on? And how long is this going to take to figure this whole thing out? And I look out there, and this tug of war, and it was so surreal how all this happened. I looked at the woman, and the woman made eye contact with me. And I just said, come on, get in the car. And she looked at me and she just left the woman who was trying to pull her in the crowd. She pushed her away. And the police literally dropped her arm and she walked over and she just got in the police car. It was super calm. She didn't say anything. And so she sits down next to me and they close the door and away we went in the police car. And I'm thinking in the police car, these police guys, they don't speak any English. And she tried to sell me the ticket in English. And I don't think she's involved in this. So I said, how much was the face value of the ticket? And she said, I don't know, but I have another one. So she didn't have handcuffs on, so she could pull out the other ticket. And she looked at it, and it had a face value of $375. I said, tell them I paid $375 for that ticket. She says, okay. I said, don't change your story. She goes, okay. We get to the police station and they put me in one room. They put her in another room. And it's like an interrogation room. It's like the room that you see in movies where they put the light on you. There's no windows. It's just an interrogation room with a table. And I sit down and I'm waiting. And this guy comes in and he says, okay, I'm going to ask you this one time. How much money did you pay for the ticket? Because in Brazil, it's a crime to pay more than the face value for a ticket. And I said, $375. And he said, are you sure? And I said, yes. And he says, okay, wait right here. And he goes and he leaves. And I presume he went and spoke with the woman. And he comes back and he says, I'm going to give you one more chance. How much money did you spend for the ticket? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. $375. And he goes, no crime. Let him go. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Really? I'm leaving? Oh. They took the handcuffs off. They take me to the front door and they let me walk out of the police station. And I thought to myself, what just happened? This was crazy. I get about 100 meters from the police station and I hear this yelling. And I look back and it's a guy and he says, American! Hey, you, American! And I almost didn't want to look back. I almost wanted to just run. But I look back and he's got his arm in the air and he says, you forgot your ticket. And I thought to myself, either he's trying to scam me, to get me to come back and rearrest me, or he's going to give me that ticket. I run back to the guy as fast as I could run. And he had the ticket still in the air with his hand up. And I grabbed the ticket and I said, thank you. And I ran to the stadium as fast as I could. And when you get to the stadium, there was like 4 layers of police that you had to go through. So I had to show them the ticket, show them my ID, show them my ticket, show them my ID. And it was a long ways to get to the stadium. But you finally get to the stadium and you put your ticket under the barcode scanner, and the barcode scanner comes up with a big green check mark or a red X. And I put my ticket under the scanner, and all of a sudden it was a green check mark. And the emotion, I've never felt the complete emotion of happiness like that. Well, maybe I have, but that was a very different feeling of happiness. When that green check mark came off, and I knew that I had gotten in to see a World Cup final in person. It was a dream come true. Germany won 1-0. It was a game that went into overtime. It was an amazing goal that got scored in the end. My dreams had come true. I tell you this story, and it's a long story. A story of my life, because my dream of seeing a World Cup final, was bigger than my fear of finding a ticket. If my fear of finding a ticket and my fear of going through the process would have been greater than my desire to see the World Cup final, I would have given up. And that's the way it is in real estate. In real estate, we have our dreams. We want financial security. Kids' college paid for. Maybe you want to travel the world. Maybe you want to eat healthy. Maybe you want to have a beautiful home. Maybe you want to retire comfortably. I don't know what your exact dream is in real estate. When we get into real estate, we have amazing dreams. What we're going to do when we're successful. Maybe you just want to show your haters that you can do it. Honestly, I had a hater. I had a hater in my world, and I wanted to prove to them wrong that I could be successful in real estate. And that hater said, look, you're never going to do it. Why are you trying to do this? Why? And for a long time, that drove me. But we have our dreams in real estate. We have our fears. When our dreams are bigger than our fears, then we'll do what it needs to be done. We'll meet the people that we need to meet to build our network. We'll call the people that we need to call week in, week out to build those relationships. We'll write personal notes to those people. We will go and eat lunch with those people. We will go see those people. We will ask those people for help. And we will get the referrals that we need to make our dreams become reality. But when your fears are bigger than your dreams, when you embrace your fears more than you embrace your dreams, then you won't go and meet the people that you need to meet. You won't go to the networking meetings. You won't call the people that you need to meet. You won't deepen the relationships week in and week out by calling them, writing to them, going and seeing them, having lunch with them. You will embrace your fears. I'm not good at meeting people. I don't want to call people. I don't want to impose on them. That is embracing your fears. When your dreams of being a success in real estate are bigger than your fears, then you'll win. But when your fears are bigger than your dreams and your desires, that's where you get in trouble. That's where you start making excuses. That's where you need to take a serious look at what you're doing. I would love to help you. I would love to help you overcome your fears. I would love to help you put the right processes in place to get to success. I would love to be your accountability that you need to make sure that week in and week out, day after day, you're implementing the right processes and doing the right things. I want to be your coach, and I can help you get to where you want to go. I can help you overcome your fears. Click the link below, get on my calendar, email me, find a way to connect with me, and I will coach you to success. I will help you overcome your fears and get to where you want to go.